Yeah, I probably will in case
I,
so
I'm a
decides to watch this.
I'm a professional.
Are
Well,
you?
actually, I am,
So
but
fucking when?
but not for here.
Oh wait, yeah, that's true.
Legally, I am a professional. So yeah, it's like that. It's just not on YouTube. So yeah, I got the setup. People can see that we're talking about Doctor Who, with Doctor Camp there on the picture. You know, it's all very good. You know, the picture of talking about with
Hey, Max.
LSD. Max, what are you doing? I can't see the thing. Okay, I've got to roll this across now so I can see what he said. You guess? Yeah, we guess. I don't. It's not real. This series, right? It's like a fever dream. That's the point. That's the reason I wanted to talk about it.
It's so inconsistent. It's like, yeah, only a dream could be this inconsistently good and bad.
Oh, sorry, Lion. Say something again. No,
Hello?
No, sorry, it wasn't you. It was my headset, but you were the one talking last. I accidentally twisted it, and everyone went quiet because it wasn't in properly on my headphones.
Right.
So yeah, that's
Before we get into the thing, has it ever happened to you that you unplug the headphones from your computer and the computer just restarts?
No, but I did read that happened to you the other day.
Yeah, and it wasn't the first time. I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I've not had that. I've had other things though. I've had just my computer freeze, just like when I've had like too many like videos on YouTube, like load them. It's like no, pick one, you fuck. I'm bored now. I'm out, and I'm like, oh, but I was gonna watch those 5 videos later. It's like, exactly. You don't go outside. It's like touch some grass, you degenerate.
You fucking fat fuck.
Hey, only everyone knows that. Anyway, I wanted to talk about like the whole thing, but I thought, as a fairness, it's been the reboot. We might as well start from the beginning, and also Shammy. I know Shammy's been like in and out, but Shammy's seen some of all of Doctor Who since we've got back to it. So I think Shammy will have watched if we include the David Tennant ones, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 7 out of So and I thought we could start there because I think it's funny, and my memory is insane that I still remember. I only watched so we'll start with the Star Beast then. I've only watched that episode once, which was with you guys. No, twice. I watched it with my mum afterwards, and I'll have to just say how funny it was. Her reaction to that was, but yeah, yeah, that was like the start of the reboot, and I don't really know what else to say about it because like if we're just going through like a basic, because we're not doing like a breakdown, we're just having like a general thing about what's happened so far. That was a bizarre episode because I don't know how much you guys remember, but I remember we were all like, "Oh, this is kind of okay. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, this is like all right." And then like in the last like 10 15 minutes, it just completely like destroys itself. And we were just like, "Oh, you've just ruined it!" And this whole episode has now gone to like one of the worst episodes of TV ever. And can everyone remember? The lines, the binary, non-binary.
Oh yeah,
Grange.
Yeah. It's like you're just throwing words around. What does he even mean?
Right, yeah. So basically, throughout as like a basic recap of the episode, it starts with the Doctor more or less being confused. He just goes to Earth randomly. Like, so far, so good. It's fine. He happens to come across Donna and he starts freaking out. Yeah, that's fine. And Donna's got a daughter who's a transition kid. That's fine. I don't like the fact that they made them 16, especially when they don't look 16. Also, I just had a thought, and it's not really relevant, and I'm going out of order, but I'm pretty sure they say that they're 16. How in the fuck is that kid working for UNIT in the recent episode, Red Lion?
Well,
Yeah.
the thing
Yes.
is, if they are underage, you don't have to pay them as much.
That is true. Maybe we
as
get
we have
into
established,
it.
Yeah, so that's why they have a
as we have
16-year-old.
established-
Yeah, then there's no document.
it is canon that UNIT has monetary issues. Remember?
Oh yeah, because they got cancelled. They have to hire people that they have to pay for like what's the less than 18 wage, isn't it? We can only afford people that can pay less than £4 an hour. So,
Yes, they had no money and now they have all the money.
well, if we ask Red,
Yes. Yeah, very weird system.
I mean, Red explained to us how good their uniform was. So,
Yeah. Fucking soft leftovers. I'm sure they bought it from eBay. You can buy good stuff on eBay, but nobody does because it's fucking eBay.
I know I'm going through like my non-order again, but fuck it, this is just the thing. I don't understand this. Like I know we said this before, watching like older episodes, like the 2005 onwards and stuff like that. And I know you pointed it out, Red, as more like a bit of trivia in that, but you kind of didn't mind. Well, I don't know about everyone else, but I didn't mind like the cheapness then, because you just know, yeah, they're on a budget, yeah, they're just thinking, yeah, it makes sense internally existing. It looks silly, but it's kind of fine. But this is the most expensive series of Doctor Who ever. Like, why does it still look like kind of like okay, like, you know, meh then? Because it does look fine,
Yeah.
but why doesn't it look better than it used to? Like, I can't really tell, apart from the fact that the CGI looks, I guess, like a modern CGI, if that makes sense, but not even like stellar CGI. It just looks like modern okay CGI. Because the 2005 one looked like good CGI that was for the time, you know. You know, like, it was very basic, but it looked, you know, for the whatever. But they made a big deal about how this is the most expensive series of Doctor Who ever. Why does it look very good then? Like, it doesn't look. I try to be thinking. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad, and like the practical effects I appreciate for what they are, but it's like it doesn't look like Disney money, and they're like, oh, we spent over £1 million an episode. I think they were like, it's like where? Where?
I would like to remind you that Black Panther exists, and its CGI is rushed the fuck out.
Yeah, but I will say that the CGI does look better than that in this, but it doesn't even look like. I just like the fact that they seem to say it with like a point of pride that they spent £1 million quid or dollars or whatever per episode. I'm just like, yeah, if you hadn't have said that, I probably would be impressed with the visuals. But when you've been like, this is the most expensive series ever, I'm like, oh dear. I'm like, because I think this whole like the Sutek model in the last episode was probably like the best thing that like looking so far as CGI, pure CGI. And maybe that's
Still
what
didn't look super expensive.
No, but it didn't. It looked good, and I'm just like,
It did,
and it very detailed is probably what I'm more getting at, like you know, with the gems and the hair and all that. You know, it looked very fitting and all that and creepy. But like apart from that, like we've had like space babies and we had like well, I know it's like one of my favorite episodes, but Wild Blue Yonder looks kind of dodgy. Like it's expensive, but like that one looks like they're on a green screen for some of it, and I don't mind because the writing is actually good in that one. But that one didn't look like it cost £1 million to make. Anyway, fucking gone off. So yeah, so Starbeast. So yeah, so they have that whole thing. Apart from the fact that she's 16, which makes me kind of cringe because I'm just like I'm very much of the advocate of at least wait till they're an adult before they start, you know, changing everything permanently.
For planetary defense. Oh, this thing.
No, for the child.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about her working for unit.
No, for her transitioning. Which again, we've been over this. That's like no issue. It's like, but why are they not an adult? Just make them 18, then it would be fine. I don't know why they're not 18, because then you'd be like, oh yeah, they're an adult and they've made their own decisions. Fine. But it's like, she's 16. You're like, oh. Why have they abused this child? But anyway.
Well,
There's also,
I hope
like,
nobody... Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, like, Bella, you brought up the non-binary thing. There's also like they had to remind us about the Jodie Whittaker doctor because, like, Donna says to David Tennant's doctor, like, it's a shame you're not a woman anymore because she would have understood.
Yeah.
And I just did that line. I was like, wait, my first, don't remind us of Jodie Whittaker.
I'm gonna come back to that, Shami, when I get there and thing, because I've got something else to say about that I've always hated that and you guys know about. But it's like so we have the start, but remember, Shami, which we all just went, oh no, we're sorry, Jodie, it wasn't your fault. But no, when the first thing the doctor walks out, he goes, he just goes, a few minutes ago I was this brilliant woman, and we're like, were you though? Were you? Yeah, I mean, we're like, were you? I've watched Jodie Whittaker's series.
I mean, you're more lying to yourself at that point.
I mean, I guess the Doctor's always had an ego, so that I guess that kind of tracks, you know. Just like you know, self like, yeah, I was great then. What about all the parts where you were stupid? That didn't happen. Nah, that was nah. Just did nah. Typical woman lying to himself.
Slander, lies and slander.
Well, do you lie to himself, Shemi, as well? I think Shammy is lying to himself.
Sure. Cool. What do you like as Shimmy?
Oh,
you guys are great to hang out with most of the time.
not relevant to anything, but I'll tell you this story just because it was funny, Shammy. So yesterday when we were watching just had the Doctor Who stuff, when we were catching Red up on it, and that Izzy was showing me a quick video, and she just goes, it's funny, and it's somebody. And it was this lady kicking a football really badly, and she goes, "Yeah," and I was like, "You're right, that is funny, a woman kicking a football." And she just like looked at me. I was like, "I'm gonna die tonight."
I'm in danger.
Yeah, it was the "I'm in danger" meme. It was very stupid. But anyway, so the base thing. So when they get home, Donna and Rose. And they find the thing in the shed, don't they? You know, the Star Beast. The where
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was called, actually, the name of the species, but you know what I mean. It doesn't matter.
Yep. Meep.
Oh, the
I
meep.
can
It was a
look
meep.
because-
It was the meep.
The meep.
Yeah, the meep.
yeah.
And his pronouns were meep.
Which to be fair, I thought was quite funny. It's just a shame how they did that. Like, I would have found that joke funny if they didn't literally go, "What's your pronouns?"
Yeah. Are you assuming he as a pronoun?
Yeah, that fucking line. So, I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter what happens. They try to hide it, and then the doctor's there, and everyone's going, "Oh my god!" And then the doctor goes, "Is he all right?" And then Rose just goes, "Did you just assume?" And then the doctor goes, "Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry." And the thing is that I don't really mind that in and of itself, because I would actually find it a doctor thing to go, "Oh yeah, I will talk to this creature." It's honestly just how it's said by like Rose and stuff like that. Rather than, I would have just found it better if instead of it was Rose just being like, "Excuse me, do you know your pronouns?" I think the meep should have just been like, "Just the meep," just to itself kind of thing. And then the doctor would have been like, "Okay," kind of thing. Because I think that would have been quite funny, the idea of there's this creature that they all refer to themselves as the meep, which is what the joke is, but they butcher it by just
It's like smurfing, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I think that's kind of amusing. Except they have to hammer home that. Did you know this is an allegory, guys? Nailing the thing to your forehead, and you're like, "I got it. I'm already cringing. Leave me alone, Russell." RTD, please. I understand you're a moron when it comes to politics. Anyway, so yeah, and then they get attacked by like. What is it? They're like mind controlled unit people, and then they start having a fight with the bug aliens, don't they? And they're like shooting her thing.
So,
Karen?
I was just gonna say the mind control. So that happens. They're gonna go up to the ship, but that one girl's in a wheelchair, so she can't go up there. So they go up, they get mind controlled, and
Oh, I'm totally sorry. Yeah, I forgot that we had that whole
they
thing with the
don't do
doctor,
anything.
didn't we? Yeah.
yeah, and then she disappears on her wheelchair for a little bit. Yes, like they get mind controlled, and she disappears.
No, I remember now. I forgot that was a
Yeah.
scene. Yeah, so the doctor breaks into where they're investigating the crashed spaceship, isn't there? And then she's in the wheel. And then they go up, and then she's just like, "Well, go on without me." Then all the soldiers walk up so they can all get mind controlled except her, isn't it? That's basically what happens. So she chats with the doctor, and then that's like an okay scene. Nothing really happens in that. It's fine. And then we go back to the fight scene, yeah. And then there's not really much that happens. I think there was stuff that people were kind of upset about. I wasn't bothered, like that hard, like shieldy thing. I'm not bothered about that. I think it's fine. I just think that if a scenario like that happens again, the Doctor needs to use it again. You know what I mean? But so far, really, we've not had like a laser battle thing. So okay, whatever. So essentially, what is it? They just escape, don't they? They get into the cab, and then they drive off, and then we have a scene where the Doctor puts on his wig, and he does like a trial, and then he summons two of the alien things, and then we have the reveal, don't we, that they're actually bound. They're actually like the police trying to arrest the last Meep to keep them safe because the Meep have all got evil. And as let's say as an idea, I think it's kind of funny. I don't mind it, and at that point, apart from the fact that, like I said, Rose being 16 is weird to me with all the stuff, but apart from that, I was like, yeah, okay, this is like a fun enough episode. I thought it was quite funny as well. They showed how they made the Meep extra evil by saying "you and your weird child" when it talks to Donna. And I remember that being like, "Oh, spicy, Russell." You know how to my goodness.
How mean can you be about actually saying slurs?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Weird, you and your weird child.
Like, oh, how scolding.
It's like you like start fanning yourself. You're like, oh dear, I got to go on in here. Anyway,
She just goes, please. I went to school. I heard way worse.
I went to public school. I got way worse than that. Yo, I mean, to be fair, they had that thing where there were the kids on the bicycles that were transphobic to her, and it has nothing to do with the plot. Because remember that happened. And anyway.
Yeah, and doing it while like they're bullying somebody, and the person they're bullying, their parent is right there.
Yeah, not smart, but I guess that I guess that's the point. Like, but at the same, the thing is right, is that I'm not against it if it's like to do with the character, but Rose is such a non-character, and the fact that she's like I guess bullied for being who she is has got nothing to do with the episode. It's one of those things where they're like, oh, a lot of people that are trans say that they have a lot of issues. Yeah, and I don't get me wrong, they almost certainly do, because it is what it is. And then it's like, let's put it in there. You're like, oh, why? And they're like, yeah. So what's this got to do with the story? They're like, well, trans people get bullied. I'm like, yeah, okay, I got that. So what's that got to do with this episode of Doctor Who? And they're like, whoa.
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
Yeah.
Me, I'd be like, what does it do for the story? Nothing, okay, but what does it do for Rose's character?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's got nothing to do with anything, and it's like
what now?
Yeah, no, she's
Exactly.
she's such a non-character as well. That's why it's even fucking worse, isn't it? That she's so boring. Anyway, they have the thing. They find out the Meep goes evil, kills the two things. The Doctor and Gang get kidnapped, don't they? They go to the spaceship, blah blah blah, and then the Meep has this thing where and I've honestly forgot this until this second, just because I remember how funny it's going to be remembering this, guys. They have a machine where it drills into the earth to like draw minerals out, and it will like destroy all of London because it will destroy that many minerals. And as it starts drilling in, it makes a massive crack in the earth, and we'll put a pin in that because that won't be a problem later if you remember. I mean, no, we'll just say it now. When they eventually save the day, and the energy goes back, it just like fixes itself.
Yeah.
There's massive.
I mean, I've heard of the Earth healing, but I don't think it's that literal.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I can totally buy like when the thing goes back, the ominous orange glow and stuff like stopping, and maybe even like bits of Earth filling itself. But it knits itself back together like nothing was wrong. And then I have to ask myself again. So this was a really expensive episode, you keep telling me, and yet I don't.
Keep saying
Sorry.
it, but nobody can see it on the screen.
Yeah, it's like it's just like I mean, I keep hearing that, but I don't.
Yeah.
I never see it. But
Maybe entertainment's in one big laundry laundering scheme, money laundering scheme. The other way around.
you got to launder your money, otherwise it.
Get all the pieces out, yeah.
Got all the blood out, and then it is Disney after all. But yeah, and then so I guess just like to go through it basically. They managed to escape. They stopped the thing. The Doctor and Donna, who still at this point hasn't got a memory because that's still at the point where, as the audience, we know that's a bad thing, and we're obviously all on the edge of our seats, wondering, oh, how are they going to how's the Doctor going to fix this thing so Donna doesn't die? Because obviously that would have to be really well explained. Otherwise, it would be it would ruin an old Doctor Who storyline that people like celebrated and loved, and thought was like a really tragic end that if you're gonna do it you have to at least be really clever about it. So let's see what happens. So obviously as the Doctor and Donna get split up in the same room, don't they, with like a perspex glass thing, so they both have to like press buttons on both of their sides, and so the Doctor gives her a memory back with I guess like some safe word that you assume that he like programmed into her, which I can buy, that he did it just as a just in case thing. And then he's like, how long has she got left? She's like, she got like a minute. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to use it. And then they save the day. and Donna collapses, and then the meep is stopped, and blah blah blah. The Earth heals, in the global warming is undone, all that stuff, and then, but like, they're like, oh, I'll blow up the ship, and then she can't blow up the ship because they're going binary, and that's the thing that the Donna was saying. And I know Russell T Davies is special in the TH way, that he's special, but but if everyone remembers, the reason that Donna goes binary back in season 4 isn't because she's talking about binary like in the gender sense. She is literally talking about fixing a thing on a computer, and is just saying the word binary as in computer programming on the TARDIS, and she just gets stuck on that word at one point because her brain's melting. It's not, the word binary isn't the significant bit. So what the fuck is happening? I have no idea. And then but then they say binary, and then it cuts away to Rose, and it's got this swelling music, and she goes, non-binary! And you're like...
You see,
What's
then it was a setup for
and then,
the episode that's gonna happen in the next 15 years
but
so.
It's that thing though where, on a purely mechanical...
Good thing you said binary, not pudding.
Pudding. Pudding. It's a metaphor. What for? Yes. You put it in the microwave, it's different.
Beautiful.
Is Shami okay there?
No.
And then, but on a purely mechanical level, I don't understand. First of all, the fact that the binary, non-binary thing doesn't mean anything. Secondly, she's not non-binary. She is transitioned. She's a she.
Yes.
So she's not a non-binary person. She is a man that has become a woman. So, I don't...
Well, she is just part of the HD, LG TV.
Yeah, the LG HD TV.
Yeah. LG TV, yeah.
Yeah, Red, it's insane. They keep adding they keep adding more letters, don't they? Now it's the LG TV 4K plus. All these letters they keep adding to this, I don't understand it. Back in my day.
Is it better or worse? I can't tell.
HDMI.
LG TV HDMI 4K plus
USB-C.
USB-C. How do you identify on the USB-C scale? I'm more of a C myself. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh dear. Right then. So and and then they save the day. It's fine. I mean that non-binary thing is
somehow.
But right. But the explanation the doctors, so they start with like an explanation of like, oh, it's shared between them, maybe it's slowed down. But then they all say, but her being non-binary means nothing, and it's like, right, I agree, it fucking doesn't mean anything. But but here's the thing, right? I, as like an aside, I could totally buy the idea that, oh well, the doctors, Donna's had a kid, and it means that Time Lord thing is, I guess, shared. I mean, it's all made up bollocks anyway, and this was never, like, in the original one, her having a child, so I'm just like, alright, fine, I can buy that, so that it's slowed down, and the doctor says, right, but we still got a way to fix the meta crisis, because that thing has slowed, but it's still killing you slowly, and then we get to where Shami got to, so, about the, that's, they can give it up.
Yeah, they just let it go.
Yeah, and it's a shame you're not.
It's a shame you're not a woman anymore, because she would have understood, despite the fact that the doctor has the memories and like, has everything like of his previous selves. So he should be able to know and figure it out.
Yeah, this is the.
But he just stands there looking lost at both of them as they're telling him this. And he's like, what? What?
This is the reason it annoys the shit out of me, Shami, is because I still think it would have been cringe. But if the doctor had never been a woman, I could have been like, okay, it's stupid, but at least it doesn't contradict anything. But literally yesterday, the Doctor was a woman, so that doesn't make sense.
He is literally the only person in the room that knows what the hell they're talking about on an emotional level.
So I'm like, Russell, you don't understand how anything works, and it's like, oh, it's his story. I'm like, and yet he still fucked it up. It's impressive. I don't know what to tell you. It's absolute terrible. And I'm gonna say this: wouldn't it have been a way better storyline? Also, for the fact of if you want to have your transgender representation, have Rose as a third character, and have it be that the 60th anniversary is the Dr. Donna and Rose have to go on a couple of adventures to find a cure for the meta crisis. Very simple storyline. The audience probably would have been invested because they don't want to see Donna die, at least, and and then
people like her.
and then you could have had Rose develop as an actual character. But just to be clear, what happens instead is the Doctor and Donna go inside the TARDIS, and the Donna randomly spazzes out and fucking throws coffee onto the TARDIS.
Like, was she deliberately doing it so she would go have an adventure?
I mean,
or was it supposed to be an accident?
No, it was an accident. It's an accident. Canonically, it's meant to be an accident. It wasn't, because I've watched that scene quite a few times to check, and she just throws the coffee or tea or whatever it is literally onto the TARDIS.
Goodness, I'm so clumsy. I'm just gonna toss my teacup this way.
Yeah, it's not even like she spills it. It's like it goes fucking 90 degrees. I'm not even against the idea that you could spill it and it do something. I mean, first of all, I don't believe the TARDIS would get fucked up by it anyway. But secondly, if you're gonna spill it. Don't just have a character just randomly. It would just be the same if she slam dunked it and gone whoops. But then that was the Star Beast, and I don't know about everyone else, but I was like, for that first half, I was like, yeah, this is fine, and then I was like, oh dear. Oh no, you've made what was started out as a 6 out of 10 story, and you've ended on a 2. Well done, Russell, you made it. And I remember that happened, and and I remember when it ended, we were all just like, oh dear, this is the norm. Back in November, we were all very like, hey, what the hell, no. And then we watched the next one, Wild Blue Yonder, and everyone remember how that one started?
Oh yes.
The most very cringy sketch, and then we moved on.
Yeah, I'm just getting to the cringy sketch because I like how it starts with them meeting Mr. Newton, and he is a very much tanned man that looks like he's from the Caribbean, rather than the pasty white fucker that he was in real life, because he was.
So,
yeah.
Also, just for the youth in the chat, yeah, we are talking about the thingies, the Tenet 3 episodes and the new season. We only just started, so
you guys are chat. Yeah, we're honestly just. I was bored, and before the finale this Saturday, I just wanted to talk about it because I do this to people, and I'm counting the specials as part of the new series. So we're now on the Wild Blue Yonder. So that was stupid, and then we got into the Wild Blue Yonder, and I don't know if there's really much to talk about, but apart from that opening sketch that was cringe and the Mavity was stupid. Also, by the way, I know I'm just about to say I was going to move on, but why the fuck did they say Mavity? I know they do that joke about him mishearing going, Mavity. But it's like, you do know that gravity comes from the fucking, gravitas,
there's a reason gravity was
Asa,
Yep.
They don't know that. They don't know that.
They don't know it comes from another language. And it's based off the fuck. Because is it based off Greek or is it based off Latin? You know what I mean, though, don't you? It's a site.
I think it's Latin.
Yeah.
But
a lot of science words are like, let's just steal from the Greek or Roman.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah.
And most people are like, fine, that works.
Yeah, but yeah. So what the fuck? But anyway, apart from that, Wild Blue Yonder, fucking fantastic episode. Apart from that, that was the up and out. Wild Blue Yonder is like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I've watched that episode quite a few times just on its own. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I really like the premise. It has just the Doctor and Donna just working together. There's no politics. It's a fantastic just little storyline that's just about the Doctor and Donna, and there's these other creatures that can copy the way they look, but they don't quite get reality, so they keep fucking it up in small ways. And it has the great thing of David Tennant and Catherine Tate just bouncing off each other back like the old days. It just feels like a really solid episode of Doctor Who. I don't know if anyone disagrees.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's basically. I mean, there's not much to talk about. I'll say scenes that I really loved. I loved the scenes when it's both of them with two different versions, and you're not quite sure which one's the real one and which one isn't, and stuff like that. And then
how they figured out
Yeah.
that they were with. Like, oh wait a second.
Well, I like the fact that Donna actually works it out by being just annoying, if that makes sense. Like, she just kind of annoys him, and then also realizes about his tie, and then also the Doctor actually doesn't realize it's not Donna, and he's kind of tricked, and that actually is a big moment to actually make him go what do you call it? He actually has a bit of a breakdown, and then realizes he has to go and save Donna, and it's a really good moment. And it's the small things that actually made the flux maybe feel like it might be not a complete waste of time and have broken Shammy's sanity for no reason when we watched that with the Doctor having a crisis when he realizes that he destroyed half the universe somehow, literally only half though, just imagine the universe but half.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really like that, and I like the scene where there's all four of them, and then they work out that the real ones work out who they are. And I don't know if you guys remember the joke, but I adore the joke of when the ship's reconfiguring and then the wall spins, so the bad guys start walking off, and then it just keeps spinning back round, and then they go, oh shit, and they have to run, and the bad guys have already started walking off, so it gives them a chance to leave. I thought that was very funny. And then that whole scene when they lock themselves in the what's it called? Yeah, in the bridge,
Yeah.
And then they're doing that thing where they work out, oh, well, they're feeding off our adrenaline and our fear and that, so they have to be calm. And the Doctor can't keep it in. He's just that he needs to know. And that whole scene when he's working it out is phenomenal. And then they learn, and also it shows how good Donna has become at being the companion, from the series 4, where she helps him work it out. And obviously we find out that it was the space captain killed herself to stop them, and she put the ship to become a very, very slow bomb, and they've been on a countdown the whole time. Yeah, it's just a really cool scene, and and then it just ends with they save the day. End of. It's one of those episodes where it's kind of hard, isn't it? Where the better an episode is, the more you just have to go, yeah, it was really good. I think if we had a breakdown of it scene by scene, we could talk more about it. But I think that's the thing. I mean, I'm perfectly happy to see that Wild Blue Yonder is just a fantastic episode of Doctor Who. It's just on its own, apart from the opening sketch. But
I will say that I was just gonna say that when we watched the second episode, I realized something that when the special came out, I thought it was going to be they're bringing David Tennant back.
Mm.
And he's only going to have 3 episodes.
Yeah,
I thought it would be a continuous story.
Yeah, so did I. In fairness, yeah,
that would then result in him, which I thought at the time, because I didn't know they were going to split him. I thought at the time there would be 3 episodes, so it would be a continuous story that would then result in him
regenerating
into another Doctor.
But this is why I was saying, although it wouldn't have been one grand adventure, I still think it would have been better for pacing if the adventure was him trying to cure the meta crisis as the through line.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it still could have been a dramatic thing because then maybe you could have had an ending where you'll have to choose to save Donna or Rose or some a choice to make it dramatic or something. But anyway, that's not what happened. Unfortunately, we didn't. We didn't get that timeline, but hey ho. But yeah, Wobbly on, very good. And then it ends with them going back and they see Wilfred, don't they? And that's a nice scene because he was cool. Bernard Cribbins. It was nice to see him for his final bit of the Doctor he did before he passed away. Bless him. He was a decent actor and he seemed like a nice guy. So rip. And then the walls go into shit. Then the final episode, The Giggle. Overall, I liked it. I don't know how you guys would describe it. I had a lot of fun with it. I have issues with some of the stuff in the storyline, but I thought it was pretty fun. I love the toy maker. Oh shit, what's the actor's name that plays him?
Is it Patrick?
That's it. Yeah. But I know who he is. Like, obviously, he was on How I Met Your Mother and all that shit, and he's been in a lot of stuff. But you know what I mean? That's like the one people know from TV and all that stuff. And but yeah, so that one's good. So how does that start? Basically, they get sent to unit, don't they? And they're looking at, and the war's gone mad because everyone's basically been given like hyper confidence, essentially, that they're always right. I'm not quite sure how that results in everyone like crashing planes every other day, but you know.
That part was got a little confusing.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm fine with. I honestly, I get like the street riots and people driving whack because it's like the idea that they're like the rules don't apply to me. I'm right. I know what I'm doing. Blah blah blah. I don't know how somebody that knows how to fly a plane there goes, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna crash this motherfucker. Like what? Well, okay.
I don't need no license.
But it would actually make more sense.
What happens, Baller? What happens is that all the passengers storm the cabin. It's like, I can fly this plane better than you.
That would actually make more sense, though, wouldn't it? like honestly, like what Lion's joke was of like I don't need a license would make more sense if it was like somebody had stolen a plane or something. Like that would have made slightly more sense. Probably not like a big jet because who why are you getting in there? But you know what I mean? Even just like a small plane. But whatever. The idea that's what it is. It's the giggle, and obviously we know it was the giggle from the first bit of television thing that had ever been recorded to test it, because we get that opening thing where we get that kind of creepy thing of the and it's like
it was creepy.
Yeah, but I quite like the creep. And then it basically goes with the Doctor and Donna go back in time, don't they, to that toy shop where the thing was bought. And then he finds the toy maker, and honestly, right, that entire section, I adore. I think it's fantastic. When the Doctor goes in and he like he's very much either knows or suspects who it is, and him bouncing off the toy maker is quite cool. And the toy maker fucking with him and throwing the ball, and then when they chase him into his office, it's like in his own like dimension, and you're like going, oh shit, this guy's like uber powerful, being like a god. And it really like puts the stakes of like the toy maker as he's not just like a regular enemy. He's absolutely But basically, like the Doctor couldn't win if the toy maker just decided to go, nah, fuck it, I'll just kill you now. We know the toy maker doesn't do that, but that's the point. He's that strong. He can just do what he wants. And I remember when the Doctor and Donna get split up. I remember we had that really fucking fun scene where Donna's in the room with the fucking puppets that are coming to life, and I was just there like, oh, why didn't she destroy them? And then she absolutely decks the shit out of one and starts breaking off. Like, oh yeah, that's fucking dope.
I was like invested like, when they went back in time to the toy shop, but then once they came back to present day, I started to feel like a little less invested.
Yeah, I will just get there in a second, Cheryl, just because I want to talk about the other thing, and then because we'll go back straight after this. So, and then they get to the scene where the Doctor and Donna, then they meet the toy maker, and he has his little play, and I really like the scene where it shows what's happened since David Tennant's Doctor has left, and then the toy maker does that thing. He goes, then he met Amy Pod. He likes the redheads, yeah, and then he shows out how they've all died. And it's like a really morbid thing about how they all were killed and how the Doctor like tries to explain away how like them dying isn't as bad as it seems, and him going, well, that's all right then. And I really like that scene showing how like the Doctor's been through some fucking shit since.
Oh, what would have added to the scene was if they
talked
had
about Ryan's dyspraxia as well. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if they just
Yeah, that would help.
if they hadn't
Just stop the plot and just start talking about it.
if they hadn't cured the meta crisis in episode 1, then when he's going through all the companions and how they've died, he could add Donna and saying she's dying.
Oh yeah. Also, I think that was something I said, and you just reminded me. Why wasn't like the through line of like the meta crisis still not being solved? Why couldn't that have been part of the deal of like the Doctor? If I win, I can, you'll cure Donna or something, or whatever. But yeah, sorry, I know it's just back to what I fucking said. But can you imagine if he went through all the companions, because they kind of skipped the 13th Doctor companions because none of them die. But can you imagine if he went, and then the Doctor, oh, she met Ryan, and he could not play basketball. And it's like, what?
Ride a bicycle.
He could not ride a bicycle, but he could fuck around on Keblam. And you're like, what the hell? And he's just like, I know, doctor, the writing was not so good back then.
He could run when he wanted to,
but not when he did not want to.
And then the flux happened. I do not know what happened.
Emanate a planet, but
There's a quarter of a sun.
but anyway, but yeah. Anyway, and then I like the scene. I think it was kind of daft. I guess the Doctor was trying to find a game where he had 50-50 odds, and he, the cut the deck, and he lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says it's the best of 3, and they go back in time, and then they go back to the present. But just as a thing, that whole scene though, from when it's when they enter the toy makers, well, basically from when they go back in time until they leave that time period, I think that's incredible bit of set of scenes. I really like it. I just think it's really amazing. But yeah, and then they go back to the present, and then sorry, I'm trying to think. We go back to the present, and then the Doctor starts talking about and explaining how the toy maker works, and basically he explains how the toy maker can't be explained, because I really like the little bit where somebody just goes like, how does he work, and the Doctor goes, would you believe me if I said that he could change atoms through the power of thought? And they go, is that what he does? He's like, no, because I don't know what he does, or he just do what he wants. And I like that, showing how insane it is, even to the Doctor. Like, you can't understand this. It's that insane. I like that. Sorry, I'm Mount Doctor Who due to PBS moving forward at late now. And I mean, to be fair, I'm kind of watching Doctor Who more out of kind of curiosity at this point. There was no excitement for this series coming out when we were watching it. It was pure curiosity, and it was one of those curiosity killed the cat kind of things, with me.
At the beginning, it was for curiosity, now it's out of spite.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's more like, well, we've come this fucking far, might as well. But
you will fall, and I will laugh at
But
you.
we've been there, like, it's weird, because there's the occasional episode that's good, and it confuses the fuck out of us, because we're like, why is it not, what's happening? But anyway, I like the scene. Actually, I'm curious, actually, though, because I think this is just going to be a thing where it's just, like, the taste of what we like about stuff, Shemi. Because I still like the modern day stuff until the moment, if that makes sense. But I like the whole. Remember when he's? Oh, what's the song he sings?
Yeah, that. I don't know the name of the song, but when the toy maker comes into unit headquarters, he's just dancing around and doing his dance song number. I didn't like that. I think it's about when I started tuning out, because I just found it really like random and cringe, and I just I
think I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, because it just is what it is, but it's like I like that mainly just because I liked it. It wasn't like like the scene itself I thought was anything special. I liked it just showing him being the agent of chaos, not giving a fuck, and just kind of showing off how kind of nothing they are to him, like he can just fuck about while they're trying to kill him. Like they're shooting at him, and he turns all the bullets like to rose petals as they're coming out of the out of the barrel, and then when those two guards actually come up to them, he turns them just into like little colored balls, and then they're just dead, and you're like, oh yeah, that's fucking like awful, that's terrifying. Yeah. And then he just leaves, and then he's outside. And I tell you what, I really, really, really liked the him being on that massive gun, and then Kate Stewart going, "Where are my men?" And he was going, "I think they're still falling." And then like a second later, you hear of like a few bodies. You're like, "Oh, that's kind of dark." Like,
yeah, but then they kind of forget about it. They just like move on.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I get you, but wait, what do you mean? What are you gonna do about it? Surely the threat is more important until after you've dealt with it. You can't save them. They've hit the ground. They've fallen from the top of a skyscraper, like they're dead. I kind of get it if they're on like a smaller building or something. But you're like, oh, they might be alive. It's like, no, they're dead. They've fallen like
No, I know No, not that like we could say more or anything. Like, I know they're dead, but it was just kind of like that happens, and then they move on, and like there's like the end of the episode and stuff. But there's no. It's like, oh yeah, a bunch of people died before we won.
There is a line I think from Kate Fitzgerald where she just goes, "Get the name of all the men that died and make sure their families are taken care of." Like there is a throwaway line for that to show that they do care about the people that do, don't make it during the dangerous missions, which I liked. A little bit of thought, but that's after the whole everything. But yeah, so they go into the thing. I like the bit where the doctor says, "Get back inside," and he goes, "No, I want them to stay." And then the doctor says, "Get back inside now." He goes, "And I said 9," and he just shoots the tower. Like, I like that, him just like not caring. But then oh yeah, and then so Shammy, we had this ruined for us. Well, I say ruined, ruined being the best word I could think of, because we didn't really care that much, but we found out beforehand. But yeah, so the toy maker shoots the doctor and he's going to regenerate, and then he becomes two, and it's just odd, and
it becomes binary.
Yeah. The power of two.
He bi-generates.
This is coming out of hands. Now there are two of them.
Two of them. But like, that's one of those things to me where I'm not like, it doesn't upset me, if that makes sense, because it's not actually ruining anything. It's
just makes you question how the hell does that work.
Well, I'm more just like, okay.
It could have happened at any time.
And they're not really curious about how it happens. Like, they're just like, what? And then it happens. And there's no like, we should probably like,
all right then, let's roll with it.
Yeah, we just roll with it. And then no, we should look into why this happened.
Well, they do it as like a throwaway line from Shooting Up was a Doctor, where he just says, it's never happened before, but it's theoretically possible. And you're like, is that it? Okay, I guess that's it then.
That's it. That's all we're getting.
She said, "This is not impossible, just highly improbable." Okay.
Yeah, it's like, sure, why not? I guess. So yeah, that was more odd to me than I heard a lot of people saying how like it destroyed Doctor Who and that, and I know there was what Rusty Davies has said is absolutely broken. But as far as how I like to see stuff, I like to only go by what's actually in the shows. Like, so I'm not going by what he said yet until he actually go through on his threat, but
it's clear they did it so they can keep David Tennant
yeah
around.
I mean that's kind of what I assumed is what they're actually doing for like the TV series, and I think that that like the comment that Rusty Davies is more pandering for fans, going, your favorite Doctor might still be around in a different on a different like timeline. I'm like, sure, why not? I don't care. But yeah, so and then they have the game of catch and they win and that's it. And I'm like, that's not bad. It's very anticlimactic though.
Yeah, the game of catch was very was poorly edited, I would say, because it would cut to each of them reacting to catching the ball.
Yeah, you
but
didn't,
not to show them catching the ball.
Well, you didn't see that the ball.
Are they that? Yeah. Are they that bad at catching ball?
Yeah. Were like 27 takes, and that was the best.
Just want to remind everyone that these are the most expensive episodes of Doctor Who ever made.
Yes.
They couldn't even CGI the ball.
And like, are they also supposed to be like throwing the ball with such great force that when they're reacting to like catching, it's like, oh, that was really hard to catch. Like, I'm just standing here kind of leaning to the side a bit, and I caught it. Oh,
Bryn.
It felt the acting on that was kind of a little over the top as far as like catching the ball.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of writing on the game.
Yeah,
but
I honestly just feel like it was really anticlimactic. Like, if you're gonna have a God of Games and have a game, make a cool game. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's loads of stuff that you've seen where someone have had to play like a game. Like that was the concept of the first fucking like of the Celestial Toymaker. Was that like the Toymaker put them through a series of games? Why was it just split the deck and catch? it's not like I can say that there's anything wrong with it, but it's not very good. It's just so yeah. It's I like the toy maker himself. I liked the episode as like a plot.
I wouldn't buy everything on Disney. Keep in mind that BBC has more than enough cringe on its own.
Yeah, this is still written by Rusty Davies. Yeah, so I think that it's definitely on his shoulders. So I think that Disney definitely more just gave the money and just think that Doctor Who's more interesting than it is. But
yeah, I guess Disney just at the end of each writing session comes in and checks if there is enough cringe, maybe.
And hang on. You didn't mention about the LGTV once. Where's the 4K? Where's the USB-C?
Where the pronouns?
I don't see one SCART lead in here at all. Going back in time, boys. Remember the RGB. Where's your RGB on your LGTV?
There's me more fun or preamps in this series, god dang.
Got more on pronouns, goddammit. Oh dear. And then and then that's basically the end of the episode. And then we get to they talk about being the two doctors, and then they say as part of his reward he gets his own TARDIS, so he hits it with a hammer and he makes it and he splits the TARDIS.
First TARDIS with a hammer.
Yeah.
And it
Oh yeah,
becomes another
there's
TARDIS. And it has a wheelchair ramp.
It has a wheelchair ramp, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that the woman who can stand."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, actually, we forgot. We actually forgot about that joke that we actually thought was hilarious, didn't we? Actually, I think we should pay credit to that. I love that fucking joke where they talk about how they're all on edge, and then Kate takes her like normality filter thing off, and she says, "She's lied to us. I saw that she walked. She can walk." And we actually like unironically just found it hilarious, and I love that scene. But sorry, Sherry, carry on. I just remembered.
Yeah, especially as like when she gets the band put back on her, when Kate gets her band back put on, the wheelchair lady doesn't say anything about her condition that lets her walk like for a little bit. That it's easier to get around in a wheelchair because there's less straining on her. Like just something. Because you brought it up. You brought up the fact that she can walk.
Yeah, didn't she say something like finally for the modern day, or you finally brought the TARDIS into the modern day, or something stupid? Didn't she say?
Yeah. When the TARDIS has a ramp.
And I want to point this out.
It's like you can stand up from your wheelchair.
Yeah, well,
and step up.
Well, I want to point this out, right?
At least one step.
The fact that the TARDIS has been like, it's never been a problem. The Daleks have got into the TARDIS before. The Doctor had a dog called K9 that was on the ground on wheels, and he rolled in. So, it's never been an issue. I don't understand. It's such a small thing, I know, but like, my biggest argument is K9. Have you seen how low to the ground K9 is? He's on little wheels. He rolls into the TARDIS all the time back in the day. He was fine. He didn't need a ramp because I think we could all kind of imply that the TARDIS would just kind of let people in, like it's all a disguise anyway. The TARDIS isn't actually a police box, Russell.
So it's like when you have Kate say a line like that, you need to address it because you brought it up. So it's either a thing and you need to talk about it, or it's not a thing and you're just wasting time by putting it in.
What's that? Sorry.
The line about she can walk.
Oh no,
like
I don't mind
that.
No, I don't, because it's not that she's just in a wheelchair for no reason. She's got obviously some kind of musculoskeletal thing, because you can see her when she stands. She can't stand properly. I think it's more just meant to be the paranoia and how insane it is, the idea that while you're in a wheelchair you can walk, and it's like some people are in a wheelchair not just because they're paraplegic, so they're in a wheelchair because they can't walk properly. You know what I mean? And I'm assuming that that's what they're getting at with her. So I don't see that as an issue. I think the issue is more them acting like the TARDIS the fucking wheelchair ramp when they quite clearly in the past show that it didn't. But dear. And then the episode. Oh yeah. Then what do they say? Because David Tennant's Doctor is like still like on edge, and then Ncuti Gatwas basically says to him, "We're doing rehab out of order. Like you're gonna bitch and moan now, so I can be happy for my series. We're doing a soft reboot here, boys." I think is basically what they were saying.
Yeah, you're gonna go have your vacation, go be with Donna and her family, and chill and chillax, and
So yeah,
Go through your 5 stages of grief.
yeah. And then and then the doctor's doing that and whatever. Nah. And then we finally get on to shooting. Oh yeah. And then as a thing, like overall, I had fun with that episode. I don't think it's a good. I think it's an okay episode. You know, overall the giggle, like it's not like it's bad. But it's not like it does anything great either. It's fine. It's fun. I think it's above average overall. Like I'd give it probably back a 6 maybe. I probably wouldn't be against anyone thinking about a 5. I definitely don't think it's below average though, because there's nothing in it that's absolutely like cringe. It's just meh. As far as like the plot, but the plot's fine. I think it mainly suffers from not being that interesting either. It's more like the performances I think elevate it. You know, the toy maker, David Tennant. You know that they're all they're fantastic. So, hey ho. And then I remember though having 2 out of 3 episodes that were good. I was like, okay, maybe this will be good. So then Christmas happened. So we had the Christmas special.
Yeah. Be back in a moment, guys.
Yeah, no worries. You're probably best. So everyone, you remember the Christmas special, right?
Yep.
Sort of. I remember the autotune.
There were goblins and stuff, and it was really stupid. And so we follow Ruby Sunday, who is a person who was abandoned on Christmas Eve on the day of her birth, and she was adopted by her mum, and they have a life, but Ruby's obviously got this mild need to want to find her birth mother, and it's like, okay, that's fine. And then she's surrounded by a lot of bad luck. People around her, somebody on the TV gets almost killed by a Christmas tree. We found out later that the doctor stopped it, but it's like a regular Christmas tree decoration, so I don't know how it could have killed her when it probably would have just shattered, but hey ho, because it's a Christmas tree decoration, not a fucking hatchet, And then the plot basically revolves around they're fostering a baby over Christmas. Ruby's mum is, and some goblins steal the baby to eat it. And that is the basic plot. And overall, I can say that there's nothing wrong with that. It just is really boring.
And they said in their song that the baby will feed them for 3 days.
Oh yeah. So if we go through the whole thing, so the doctor is following Ruby, I think, isn't it? Because he's obviously interested in the bad luck thing to do with the goblins. That's fine. Ruby goes after the goblins, kind of. So she's chasing them, but then she's also really weird about how she's doing it, and the goblins don't get away when she's not really doing it properly. So her and the doctor follow them up, and they get up to the thing. We're showing that this doctor has some weird gadgets. He's got those gloves, with the gravity on, which he doesn't actually use again, by the way. And there's probably a situation where he could have in this series, but whatever. And and then they're saying about how these guys use kind of bad luck as a way to home in on targets, and if a lot of bad luck happens to one person, then it kind of means that it gives them a target to not into. I'm like, okay. That's kind of interesting. I can roll with that. That's fine. And they're like, and they use rope instead of electronics, and they've got a way of making it work more sophisticated than just regular rope. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of quirky. Yeah, that's fine. I can deal with that. And then the doctor and that they're crawling through the thing, and then they're singing, and I like a confession. I quite like a good old musical now and then. I think it can be quite fun to have a little bit of a sing song. There's some good musicals out there, and usually the best thing about a musical is that it's a really I guess a easy way to have exposition or to have things to show about a character while it not feeling out of place because you just have music. So there's a bit of song with the goblins, like Shammy said. They say it will feed them for 3 days when they're about to shove it in the fat bastard's gullet when the baby is smaller than his mouth. So I don't know how the hell they were going to make that last. You think you'd make a stew or something, but whatever. It's getting a bit dark. And then they fall the doctor.
The baby with nice taters.
Yeah, what's taters cup? What's a baby's precious? Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Yeah. And then the doctor says, "Why should we stop singing? Hit it, Janice." I think. And then they carry on the song. And then when I first watched it, immediate going, okay, So we're gonna have like a song, and the Doctor's gonna blah blah blah, and the Doctor's gonna do something, and they're gonna save them at least for now, and we're gonna learn about the Doctor, who he is, because at this point we don't really know anything about this new Doctor. All we know is he's a bit camp, which is fine as like a basic jumping off point, just for like how he presents himself. That's fine. But at that point, still, that's kind of all we've got, though, isn't it? Is that he likes dancing and he's a bit camp, and you're like, okay, that's fine. So who is he? The song tells us literally nothing about him. I think the words are, because I'm sad, what is it? He just goes, he says, I try to think if I can just, like in transcript, he goes, oh, the Goblin King, oh, the great, it's great to meet, it's great to meet you, great big thing, and he just goes, have you met my friend Ruby Sunday? There's more, and that's basically it. Is I'm having a fun day. Have you met my friend Ruby Sunday? Switch places with her, and while he's talking about the ropes, and then Ruby just starts like carrying on the song, and in fairness with her it makes sense because she's nervous as shit, like there's goblins that are gonna eat the baby and then maybe kill her or whatever, but like I was like, oh, we're gonna have a song with Ncuti Gatwa and we're gonna learn about this Doctor. Maybe that song is literally a waste of time. You don't learn anything about anyone in that. and as we've just been heard, the auto-tune is very noticeable.
Yeah.
Which is weird though, because I know he can sing. So I don't know why they auto-tuned it. Is that the Disney budget coming in?
Yeah.
We can auto-tune it. We don't need to, but we could.
Listen, if we don't spend a certain amount, we'll lose it.
It's like council money.
Yeah.
We'll lose it for next year's budget. God damn it. Anyway, and then they escape. Ta-da. And then they go down, and the goblins try attacking them. They stop them somehow. I actually forget how they stop them, but they do. And then they leave, and the Doctor's like, neat, they've gone and we've saved. Excellent. Blah, 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 blah. And then it turns out that Ruby's gone because the goblins have gone back in time and eaten Ruby. Oh my goodness. And then now, instead of being happy, Ruby's mum, she's now a manic depressed that goes, I hate babies. I wanted a quiet Christmas. It's like, what the fuck?
And I only take the kids in because, for the money.
And I just wanted a quiet Christmas. Now I got this baby. They want this baby. And it's like, what do you mean? You have a daughter. Like, I know she doesn't have a daughter in this timeline, but it's like, she has Ruby because she wanted Ruby, and she was happy because she had Ruby. So why would she not want to foster? Because she obviously liked fostering. That's why she adopted the kid. I don't. It's absolute garbage. But
what the baby's just ugly?
Yeah,
I don't want him to ugly.
I don't want this baby. I mean, in fairness, it wasn't the wasn't the baby darker skin tone. Maybe she just wanted the white baby like Ruby.
Yeah.
Where are the white women at?
I don't want these darkies, like,
like, what, is there some self-loathing here, Ruby man?
Yeah, it's like, your skin is like, oh, this is reverse Mega Lago.
Is it like, is it like the Boondocks where
yeah. I'm black man, I got a reverse Mega Lago. For the glorious white man.
So yeah, and then the Doctor goes back in time, and then somehow he manages to like gravity the goblin ship through the church spire and kills them, and he saves Ruby that, and that's basically it. And then he sees the mother, and and then leaving, and then he doesn't do anything, and then leaves. Blah, 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 blah. And then that's when the episode more or less ends. We get the thing of the neighbor being like, "You never seen a TARDIS before," when she looks at the screen, and you're like, "Who the fuck is she talking to?" And then Ruby,
the voice in her head.
And then Ruby goes to see the Doctor. Incredible. We have now gone to the Christmas special. We are now officially on the series. Just remind me, because I don't remember what the name of the first episode was called. It was something really clever. It was really catchy. It was really good. Guys, it was about it was about something to do with space and infants. I can't.
Infants from space. That was it.
That was it. That was it. Yeah, the baby who defied gravity.
Killer infants from outer space.
Infant
Baby
attack.
who went to space.
The babies from Mars! Exclamation mark.
Baby's big day out. 3 Space Edition.
So Space Babies was the first episode, and we watched that like at midnight because I said I threatened to watch it alone, and even you guys were like, well, we can't let him do that. Even we're not that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's how we end up with suicide now.
Yeah. And then so Space Babies. Not going to the Space Babies plot thing, but can you ever remember how like they had the opening joke again, which like ruined the.
Oh, yes. You step on a butterfly and
She becomes an insect creature from the future.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not how that works. Doctor Who has made it very clear that's not how that works. And his thing, I know it's a joke. But they made it clear in episode 2 that's not how that worked. Because they go to the future where it's been destroyed. So no. Fuck off. Anyway, beyond the stupid joke.
Isn't it lovely that they are wasting money from that budget on a mask for a joke?
Well,
Yeah.
it's the most expensive series of Doctor Who they've ever made, Red.
Yeah, you have to spend it somewhere.
They can't like hire real writers or anything, but good God, it looks average. Incredible. So yeah, then we have Space Babies. What is it? Babies from space.
It would be funnier if they gave her blackface.
Stepped on a butterfly. Oh my goodness. So if everyone remembers it, because I've only actually watched Space Babies the once when we watched it, but I do basically remember it. It starts and they end up on a spaceship, and they see the orbit of another planet, and it's kind of cool, and they're seeing like little fetuses in tank jars bubbling. And they're like, what is this place? They're growing babies. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Oh, there's this the future is a weird language, although they make it quite clear, like, the future language is Chinese, which I don't know if, like, a kind of a dystopian future that Rusty Davis is, like, telling us about, but okay.
Yeah, but when he says the name, though, before it switches to Chinese level, when he says the name, it's Spanish, isn't it?
He says it's, like, a mix of, like a few languages.
He says the name of the
planet,
of the world, or the planet.
The planet's Rio del something.
Yeah, that's Spanish. She says, "Oh, it's English," and then changes it the Chinese letters.
Yeah, well, no, I think what happens is that they're reading it in English, and then the Doctor goes, "Oh no," and then he does his sonic screwdriver to basically undo the filter that they've got on them, which doesn't make sense because the TARDIS does that anyway. But okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying like why? Like, if Chinese letters is what is actually written in, why would the language or the written language be Chinese or Mandarin, but the name be Spanish?
Here's the thing, right? I don't agree with the show, by the way, because this is one of those things where you haven't thought about it well enough. You just think it sounds cool, but like they've tried to make it sound like in the future, there's only one like written language for humanity, or maybe he says there's only 3 or something like that, But basically, it's like, the languages has reduced, and I'm like, I don't for a second believe that when humanity goes along the stars, we are not just going to get more languages. Fucking England has like different slang in different fucking counties. There is, and you know what I mean.
And also,
I mean, when we get a moon base, there's going to be Moonanites at some point.
There's going to be moon language that's going to be slightly different.
If we did go down to just like one or 3 different written languages, why would Mandarin be one of them?
Well, I don't think. I was just going to say something. It's not actually Chinese. He says it's a different language that's based off this, and this, and but with Chinese being a big blah 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 language, that's what. And you're like, you just why did you need to explain? This didn't need an explanation. You're just making it weird.
Yeah.
But
now we're
just ask, why can I read this? We're in space. TARDIS thing. It's like, okay, you never explain what the language was.
I was going to say you like TARDIS thing. Okay, we're actually reading Mandarin. Why? Well, it's not actually Mandarin. It's Mandarin combined with Spanish. Why? You're like, what? It's like,
wait, like, when did that happen?
Yeah. So it's just like,
can we go back to that? Can we go to that time period where?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see the Spanish-Chinese alliance.
The Spanish-Chinese Armada versus the Euro Irish French brigade. I don't fucking know.
Why is France still separate? Well, they left.
Yeah, they left after the incident.
Incident. What? I can't talk about it.
It's the incident that
Please don't.
that made France.
It was after the event. Please don't think about the event.
It was before the war, though. What war? Anyway, and then they're interrupted by a baby with a fucking disturbing mouth that moves. Remember the uncanny valley that everyone but me was very upset about. Because personally,
I wasn't upset about it. I was like, okay.
Well, I think everyone was like, it's very uncanny, and I agree. I think
it didn't look great.
No, but I think they should have done the thing where instead of them talking, they just have like a bit of technology that lets them communicate,
like mentally. Yeah.
Yeah, or like a speaker on the buggy or something. You know what I mean? Or they've got something implanted so that they can think it and it speaks it or whatever. Basically, the fact that they're babies and they've been bred on a spaceship, I don't know why that means they can talk. Biology still exists. They're still babies.
Or why they were born 6 years ago and they still
are babies? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either.
Like the people order like babies that never grow.
Yeah, well, I think so. What we get from that is that it was like a baby farm because the planet below was like a colony that was for a whatever it was, made for, whatever resource they were doing there, and they grow babies because it's a more consistent way of like getting like the people to the human workforce to go on the planet. I'm like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. That's kind of cool. Okay, let's see where that goes, and then they find out that the babies have been abandoned. Oh, that's a mystery. Why have these babies been abandoned? Oh, there's a monster down below that's making them scared because they run away, don't they, before they go up and then the doctor goes, why was I scared? And I'm like, Doctor, you are constantly scared by shit. You're usually intrigued by it, but you are still usually scared by it because you're not an idiot. That's usually the point. So that was bizarre. And then Ruby... Oh, no, that's the next episode, Ruby... Is it in this one or in the... I think is it in this one where she says you never run away from stuff?
Yeah, I think it's this one.
Yeah, and it's like, you've known him for like a day. And in that and in that episode, he never... They ran away from the goblins.
Yeah.
So what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, but whatever. Like, and at the start, apart from the uncanny valley baby mouth, I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. What's going on? And they find the nanny. I have no idea why the nanny had fucking isolated herself in that room and didn't talk to the fucking children. Remember?
That's like serious consequences on the children having had like no adult to interact with, just this voice, like a computer voice, and like.
Well, like, why didn't they just make a reason? Like, she was locked in there because the ship was dodged, or maybe they had it so that originally she wasn't allowed to work with the kids because she wasn't one of the people that work with the kids. Maybe she was just the mechanic or something like that. You know what I mean? And have it so she didn't have access or whatever to, because that was the sciencey side or whatever. Something. Instead, it's like she just sits in a cupboard and talks to the monitor. She goes, well, I like to take care of the kids, but I don't want to fucking touch them. Go near them. Yeah, kids. Gross. You're like, what's that? And because that's not what happens either, because she loves the kids, so why the fuck wouldn't she want to comfort them and talk to them? It's bizarre. It's like she's been in there for like 6 years.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is happening? It's absolutely terrible.
There's also like they talk about why the machine can't be stopped, so it keeps making babies.
Right. So they say a lot of people. They said, didn't they, afterwards, that a lot of people aren't gonna like this because it's highly political. And what it is, it's a very very hand wavy like it's a very thing about abortion, which is fine.
The topic is implied, and
that's what I mean. The topic's there. Don't get me
it.
wrong, but it's just given the thing of saying. Yeah, it is a bit fucked up to think about the idea that some people will just be thinking about, like, let's make sure that every baby is born, and then after that, fuck them. And then, in most places that are decent, they don't. They do look after the kid once they're born. But there are people out there that don't care. They just have that mandate. That would be interesting. Not in the episode at all, so it's not relevant. So all they,
he does that a lot in the series where he brings up a political point as a part of the episode. Nope. Okay then.
So as like a thing, I am totally fine with them saying like, oh well, so what happens is the spaceship's getting shut down because it's either it's not being it's too expensive or they're shutting it down, and instead of them
actually shutting it down.
Yeah, they're just evacuating the workforce, and the reason they can't shut it down is because there's a law that says the babies that are half grown they can't just terminate. They've got to let the automated process just let it blah blah blah. And you're like, okay, that's like a concept. I wish they'd like do anything with it, but fine.
I wish they know about the settlement, because from the sounds of it, these weren't like no parent children, so it sounds more like they wouldn't give a shit about the children because like no one owns them.
Yeah, so
they'll literally just like pump out the numbers. So why wouldn't they just kill them all? None of it.
Or why wouldn't they just like turn the machines like off and not grow anymore after this like last batch?
Because I guess
you'd think a society like that would think it more of a machine and just numbers rather than like, but they're cute babies. But again, we don't know much about it because there's no information about it because it's not part of the episode.
Yeah, it's so weird, and so the babies have essentially just been left.
It's
there.
also, it's like does it take 6 years to grow a baby in like that machine? Because there's the babies who were born 6 years ago, who have been stuck.
Much more efficient, Shammy, to take 6 years rather than 9 months.
And then the baby's still in the tubes. So, how long does it take to grow a baby? Shouldn't there be more?
Actually, that's a really good point. I never thought of that. What the fuck? Yeah, that's even more stupid. What the hell? I didn't even register that. Oh god, it just gets worse and worse.
I'm just thinking, if that thing is automatically creating babies, what's the point of the workforce?
Yeah,
because it's apparently all automated.
So
like if someone has to take the babies once they're born.
Yeah, but like that takes like subtle people, maybe like 2 or 3 people. But it sounds like there was a big workforce here, and all gone except for Nanny.
Except for the nanny who locked herself away.
I don't know why she locked herself away. Oh, I also love the fact that you remember as
so
well,
weird.
Remember how confused we were when they go into the room with the nanny in the closet, and she's come out of the closet, and then the closet nanny, and then but remember it's like they imply the ship's falling apart because that thing steams, and she like hits it with a wrench and it's fine. They're like, that's not. Shut up. Fuck off. That's not how that works. Get out of here. Anyway, so then they go down to look at the monster, and then they go down there, and we won't go into detail because I don't care that much. The revelation is that it's made of snot.
Oh, you forgot like the baby who comes down to face his fear.
Oh, I did forget about it. That's the reason they go down, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and he somehow transports from his stroller
into a cupboard.
Into a cupboard that's nowhere near the stroller.
Yeah, and they do imply like the babies aren't crawling or anything, so it's like he just sort of teleports. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I remember when we watched it, that babe was like, "I'm not scared. I'm gonna fight my fears," and then we were like, "I hope he fucking dies."
that would be consequences for Ruby, because she was telling him the snot monster didn't exist, even though they had all seen it.
Yeah.
So they knew it existed down there.
See, here's the thing. I think the implication is meant to be as well that monster doesn't actually hurt them; it just scares them, isn't it? I'm assuming that's what they were getting at.
Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So they do that, and then and then they do the revelation that that it's made of snot, and you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, the machine made it. I'm like, I thought this machine was programmed to make babies. What the fuck? And they go,
why?
Oh, it made birds though.
Okay. They try to explain it like it's making, he's like, what's a fairy tale for children, and what scares children in fairy tales? The boogeyman.
No,
why is it designed to do that?
The whole explanation is that like it didn't make sense. Like the more you think about it, the more it falls apart. She's just like, but why and how? How does the machine that's just supposed to make the babies have the capacity to make this?
Well, no, but yeah, here's the thing, right? So they show earlier, I think it makes a couple birds, I think, and it shows a fight, and it's like, oh, it's helping them to be stimulated. I'm like, oh yeah, I can get behind that. And then it's like, oh yeah, so this thing that's designed to create things makes a snot monster. I'm like, I don't think it can just make shit up. I think it has to be programmed to make stuff. I don't think you can program a machine just to make stuff. I don't think if you give it that initiative, I don't think it would make birds. I think everything it made would be an abomination because it wouldn't understand what things are. It's all levels of fucking weird shit. So anyway, they find out it's made of the boogers, and then they trap it in a room, and then Nanny Lady goes, I'm gonna kill it by firing out of an airlock. And then we have this fucking bizarre scene where the doctor goes to like a mental crisis and goes like, it goes,
no, it's a baby. It's a baby. And then, you can't kill it.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's kind.
No, that's not the doctor. That's all the kids. The doctor is going, remembering that he's the last of a species, and go, no, you can't kill it just because it's different. And then so he goes in, and it's also this fucking snot monster thing is being ripped apart. If you guys remember, by by the gravity that not the gravity, by the airlock that's ripping the oxygen out. So you see literally chunks.
Why
of
are you
it.
going to say Mavity?
By the fuck off. And then get out of here.
Get out of here.
And then you see literally chunks of it start to get ripped apart because it's made of snot. It's not got fucking anything. And then the doctor goes in and closes the airlock and they leave it in there and it's fine. And they're like, Granny, you're mean, Granny. You shouldn't have done that. Granny knows that now. Nanny knows, blah blah. Shut the fuck up. And then but then it's like, I don't mean to be harsh, and I know that doesn't mean you should kill like a sentient creature. But first of all, I don't believe that the snot monster is sentient. And secondly, what the hell's going to happen with the snot monster when they go anywhere? People are going to be like, oh my god, burn it! Like, look at it!
Yeah. It's a horrible monster that all it does is scare people. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, it's like it's designed to scare people. Nobody is going to not be scared. That's the point. So yeah, but anyway, and then remember how the doctor very artfully saves them all by using all the methane gas from their from their waste, and he farts them away. Very poetic for the first episode of Doctor Who that they literally shit themselves to the exit. it's I mean, I thought it made perfect sense. Space Babies was fucking terrible. In case it wasn't obvious from our synopsis, it was a terrible start. It wasn't broken, I won't say, but everyone makes the most bizarre choices. I think the only thing that is genuinely like something you can say like that is actually like breaks physics is when like the baby teleports from the stroller from the buggy thing into the cupboard. Everything else is just dumb as fuck. That's not a good thing though.
When they get the teleporting baby, and the snot monster are coming after them, 3 more babies show up to save them.
I know, it's incredible. It's
their little strollers.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I don't know. I wouldn't know where I would score Space Babies. I would probably. I don't know. I think I would be generous and give it a 3. But I think that's by comparison because we had so much worse shit.
Yeah. Speaking of.
Well, you say that, but I think we've got a bit of a division, haven't we, with the Devil's Cord? Because
Oh right, I'm skipping. Sorry.
Yeah, because we had the Devil's Cord, and I know people had issues with it, but I really liked the Devil's Cord. It wasn't perfect. I had issues. I told you guys what they were at the time, but the Devil's Cord, I thought was pretty fun. And I mean, so the base thing is we start with the Maestro as being the god of music, and appears during that guy that's giving a piano lesson, and then when that guy says, "Oh, you've got a song that you've been like making up and you want to play it," he's like, "Oh," and then when he wants to play it, she like sort of takes it out of him and it kills him. And
also, good point. Technically, the snot monster wasn't the last of its kind; it was the first of its kind.
It will be the last. I don't think it will be just.
Yeah, I fucking hope so. Yeah, but sorry, I'm just reacting to the chat.
Sorry, I just. Oh, hang on. Sorry, is it? It's not. Well, we can make more. No, we can't. It's not allowed. Stop it. No, we're not doing that. No, please. Save me. Shabby, save me. But yeah, so we have the Maestro in episode 2, and I liked the bit of that bit of meta thing where it starts playing the the Doctor Who theme music on the piano, but that, because they are the gods and stuff like that, it's one of the deities. And I was like, okay, you've got this creature that can, take song thing. Let's see where this goes. So the premise of the episode for the Doctor and Ruby is they want to go back and see the Beatles, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they want to see them record an album. Okay, so they go in, they sneak in, that's fine, and then they realise that everyone's playing really terrible, music. It's all very basic very basic tunes, and the words are crap. And you're like, okay, yeah, what's happening? And then there's this thing about like everyone hates music, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'm glad we've got over that cringe. And the Doctor and Ruby are like, what? Why is this? Why is this happening? And then they go and see a few other performances, don't they? Like a handful, and they're all like that, They've all got like dumb as shit words and stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we can work with that. Let's see what's happening. And then they're talking to some people, and everyone's basically just explaining, no, yeah, music's cringe. Everyone thinks it's crap. I'm glad that it's dying out. We all want to get like real jobs and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, okay, right. So this, let's see what happens. And then the Dot starts reminding one of the Beatles what it's like, and he starts like kind of having a love of music, and then like he snaps at him and it's like, no, music's crap. Fuck you, get away from me. And then he leaves, and the Doctor and Ruby are like, okay, this is weird. And I remember being like, yeah, okay, this is interesting. This is what happens. And then they're like wondering what's going on. They get a piano on the roof, don't they? I think is what happens next. They have a bit of a talk where Ruby learns a bit about the Doctor. A little scene that I liked. Where the Doctor says, "Oh yeah, over there is where I am right now, me and my granddaughter," and she's like, "What?" And he's just like, yeah, "Don't worry about it. It's a memory that I don't want to talk about because it's sad." And I'm like, "Yeah, I like that. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the Doctor reminiscing in a, like the wistful way of thinking, oh, the simpler times before Chibnall fucked it up are over there." And and then Ruby starts playing the piano, and then people start listening to it again. Oh yeah. Maybe music's not cringe. And then Maestro comes out of the piano being quite scary, and I remember being like, oh, I like that. Okay, this is quite cool. And then Maestro just chased them around. They managed to like get away from them, and then gets away from them, and then they end up being like sort of trapped where the Maestro's near them, but doesn't know where they are. And then the Doctor does a thing with his screwdriver where he basically blocks the sound out, and it's like a one-time trick he can use because the gods, they make it like a rule, don't they, where the gods can only be tricked by a trick, once, so then they can adapt. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. They're gods. It's like, yeah, you can fuck with them, but then once they know how the fucking was done, they ain't being no fuck no more by that. I know, kids. And then Kissy, come here. And then Maestro undoes it with magic god powers, but then gets distracted by this old lady playing the piano, and they go off and kill her. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. And it's quite a theatrical thing where Maestro closes the curtains and blah blah blah. And I think that's basically like the plot of the episode is kind of straightforward from here on out. The Doctor saying, oh, the Maestro's well, he doesn't know they're called Maestro yet, but he knows what's happening. It's like, oh, they're fucking with the world, and then the world might end now. And then Ruby says, oh, but the world can't end in the future because I'm the still here and I wouldn't exist otherwise. So obviously that's not true, Doctor. And then if you remember from episode 1 when they step on the butterfly, if the world was going to end, then Ruby surely would fade away because she turned into a fucking feathered insectoid in episode 1. But they just ignore that, and then they go to the future, see that the world's been destroyed, and then the Doctor says, oh, well, it's not affected you yet because you're with me and you're obviously like shielded temporarily, which is usually the excuse they use, don't they, for that? They're like, the people that have time traveling have kind of got like a kind of a defense against like the paradox, don't they? That's been always the Doctor Who's like way out. So I don't know why the fuck they had episode 1 with the stupid joke. It is a trend that the opening joke is stupid, but whatever. And then sorry. And then they have a chat with Maestro. And I liked the scene where Maestro changes it to like a bit of a theatre, and then they talk about how part of the pantheon, the toy makers, their dad and stuff like that, and the Doctor saying like, but I have a chance, right? And the Maestro kind of is like, oh, I'm kind of bound by the rules of. I think the idea is meant to be that because specifically Maestro is a child of the toy maker, that they are bound by the rules of like a play as well. So they have to tell the Doctor that he can go back and use like a kind of a special note to send them back, and that's basically what the confrontation is. And I think this is where me and Shammy were absolutely lost as fuck, because, I mean, everyone would be lost as fuck if they were paying attention, but they talk about like the setup. I think is meant to be that the Beatles, obviously, he was talking about like a special note, wasn't he? And that's the chord.
Yeah,
was from him. So that's fine. And then but they go back in time, and then they have a music battle.
yeah. The music battle, like watching it, it just reminded me of the music battle in the second Doctor Strange, which just looks so weird and misplaced when it happens in that movie, and then happening in the Devil's Chord. Like, I thought like a music battle. Like, this god, this deity, whatever. His power is the discord of music that he can do, right?
Yeah.
So like, so I thought that his playing instruments and stuff, like, or uses his power to have the instruments playing themselves. I don't know. It's when it happened. It was kind of like on the same level as the game of Catch, where it just felt like it should be more.
Well, I'm gonna say I think it's worse.
Epic than it was.
I think it's worse than the game of Catch, because at least mechanically the game of Catch made sense. You know what they were doing, but they had a music battle where they're playing music at each other. Where I don't know what the outcome is, but there's the Maestro's fucking like violin, which he's playing wrong, by the way. If anyone, you know, from when you see it, but it just falls apart for some reason. Like, why? What did the Doctor do that was so much cooler, or whatever? I don't understand what the logic was. But I think we had that thing before that where the Maestro has Ruby, and then it starts snowing, and then Ruby goes, "There's something fucked up about her," and then but so that's just like a little bit of setup, but that's fine. And then the Doctor sort of gets the chord almost right, except the last note, and oh no, he's put in a drum, and Ruby's put in a cello, I think, and the Doctor and Ruby can't breathe, even though Ruby has an air hole. If anyone remembers,
The one who should be having trouble breathing is the Doctor in the drum. But yeah, she's right by the hole in the cello, saying, "I can't breathe."
And then, by the way, I want to make a thing, because I've kind of skipped past the bit that I had a thing that so they go back to the building where this is happening. They go back to where they're having the recording for the albums. And it's empty. Right, and here's the thing, right? I know what they're saying is that, like, because people don't give a shit about music, people are starting to leave. It's not as empty. The idea is that it's going to, like, sort of go away. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm assuming it's meant to be the same day, right? We saw that place filled with people making shitty music. Where the fuck are they? Where are they gone? What are they doing?
And then, like, if it's empty, like, people have given up, they're not doing anything, so the building's empty. Why are two of the Beatles suddenly back there?
Yeah, because I did make a mistake, didn't I, Shammy? I assumed what the Maestro was saying was everyone's already dead, so they've gone back and it was only Ruby and the Doctor to, like, undo that stuff. And then I was like, oh wait, but the Beatles aren't dead for some reason, but I was wrong and it's not that. But then, yeah, where the fuck are they? And then the Beatles are just randomly there to finish the chord, and then the Maestro gets sucked away. Yeah, and then
Strangers have the Beatles.
Yeah, it's two of them. Yeah, it's
Power two.
Power to the power of many.
but Lion, if only they had the fifth Beatle. But
Lion, the power of many happens during the song and dance number.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then that's the episode. The end of the episode. I mean, and it is the end of the episode, but we get a 5-minute fucking quote unquote musical. That they just and all it is for the most part they just keep singing "There's always a twist at the end." Incredible, Russell T. You're a great whatever. Whoever wrote that song knows how to fucking repeat the line over and over again. What a waste of time! God damn, it was god awful.
Yeah. And suddenly, like, the building is full of people again for the song and dance number.
But they like music now, Shemmy, because the Maestro's gone. So it
Yeah,
makes
but like,
sense.
is the musical number happening in universe or like,
That,
what?
right, that's the bit that I'm confused about.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm assuming it is, but then they leave and they start fucking like dancing on the fucking zebra crossing as well, and it starts lighting up in the wrong, not in tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't understand. I don't know what
If
it's
I was
supposed to mean. I think
it might be like residual maestro energy or something, but they never explained it.
Right.
If I was gonna be generous, I would call it that.
I would honestly be fine with that. They need to tell you though.
Yeah, they need to tell you.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just guessing.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah, I'm
just
just
random
I'm just guessing
shit.
here.
God damn it. But so yeah. But apart from the musical number, I thought Devil's Chord was fun. Like overall, I thought it was just it was like I said, the writing has got a lot of issues, like I think a lot of little issues. You know, there's nothing massive apart from the bit at the end, which is not even massive. It's more just stupid. But it's more like the thing that kind of makes me out of it the most is the music battle, which isn't really even a battle. It's just people playing an instrument in the same room until one of theirs breaks somehow. But yeah, so then we have the Devil's Chord. Okay, so. So far, with the shooting up, let's just go through all of them. We've done it. So far, there has been 2 okay episodes, 1 good ones, and 3 terrible ones. We're on a good roll so far.
Amazing.
Oh yeah. Good track record.
And
See how
then,
it
Now
plays
the
out.
episode I thought we would be on.
yeah, so now we're on Red's
Okay, so-
favorite episode.
Yes, so basically, there is an organization that has exploitation by the military. What is it called? Industrial complex. They are just fed to the meat grinder for no reason whatsoever. So that's one potential political commentary. Interesting one. They are a religious organization, and was there something else? Was there some?
They were part of like the future, like the church, and it was just the idea that they've gone somewhere for their holy war, and yeah, they were just buying weaponry from an organization.
Ultra
yeah.
religious organization that's just fed to the meat grinder, and you would think that
and they make it just as like a thing. They make it clear in the interesting way that it's like an optimization thing where they're killed at a steady enough rate to keep the war going. So it's not enough to devastate them, but it's enough to make them keep buying more shit.
Yeah.
It's quite a cool idea.
yeah, pretty cool plot for a Doctor Who episode, wouldn't you think? So the episode
Yeah, I'd like
is
to see
about
that, yeah.
Doctor standing on a mine.
Yes, that's
on
the
a Roomba.
on the Roomba.
Yeah.
I think like we lovingly dubbed it the
on a
Boomba.
spicy Roomba.
Spicy
Yeah,
Roomba, exactly.
So the Boomba episode.
Yeah,
Fuck, do I have that meme? Combat Roomba?
The combat Roomba with the claymore.
I don't know,
Yeah.
if I find that meme, can you show it on the screen?
It would mess up a lot of stuff.
okay then.
It's
I'll
just
show it to you.
sorry. Actually, no. Actually, to be fair, I should be able to actually put it in the actual management chat that we're on right now. Maybe.
Yeah.
If nothing else, might be able to see the corner of it. But the yeah. So the Roomba the Boomba episode is weird, but like if we go through it in like order, so the start of the episode is there's 2 soldiers, one of them's injured, like he's temporarily blinded from whatever, it's fine, and they're both trying to get back to camp. Bryn, what are you doing? And then, just I can hear him through the fucking headphones. Choose your I is on stream. There we go.
Long.
Oh, I was just about. Why does that one say H? Oh, oh no. Oh, that's great. Anyway, so yeah, so they're moving through a battlefield, and one of them's very injured, and they're going, oh, we got to get through, blah blah blah. So while they're in the battlefield, they got to get back to base. So they're really in danger. There's something's happening. And you're like, oh, okay, well, what's going on? So he's having open comms with his daughter. I don't think they would let you be having open comms, especially for a chill phone call while you're leaving the battlefield. Obviously at base I wouldn't have an issue with it, but when they're on the battlefield I'd just be like, why the fuck are you talking to your kid,
Yeah,
buddy?
pretty good way to
Get
Show everyone
Yeah.
who can listen to where we are.
That's actually what happened to a friend of mine does volunteer work in Ukraine every now and then,
Mm.
and someone, I don't think it was a radio. They turned it on for like a minute, accidentally then turned it off, and immediately they were called to turn it off because Russians have them in the square in 200 meters, like in a minute, because of a fucking radio. That's how quickly you get.
Yeah,
targeted.
it's giving off a signal, isn't it? So
Of course.
So yeah, so I don't.
And everyone can see that signal potentially.
So yeah, so that's happening and it's bizarre. And then they say, oh, but we're better not let an ambulance get you. And then you go, and then part of you goes, oh, okay, yeah, let's see. And then that's part of the interesting bit of the plot, isn't it? Like, you know, the idea that their tech is killing them because the ambulance. But we'll go through that. So then the guy sees the ambulance, and the one that's injured says, sorry, the not uninjured guys, like, we got to go around, and the injured guy says, well, we have to go through, there's no other way. And he goes, but the ambulance goes, we have to take a chance, blah, blah. So the other guy falls down a pit that was like, for no reason and stands on a Roomba and blows up. It's that stupid. Like, he just falls over nothing, gets up, goes, be careful, steps backwards onto the Roomba, which he knows are in the area, and then just blows up. So that guy's a moron, okay? And then I think this is gonna be the bits where it's gonna be fun because this is where Shami hasn't actually seen the episodes for this, so so Shami's gonna be like hearing this and going and then the other guy gets picked up by the ambulance, and the ambulance goes, your injury will take 2 weeks to recover. This length of time has been deemed insufficient. I will fucking murder you. And then it does. And then you're like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's an interesting. And then the episode starts, and then the TARDIS is there, and the Doctor hears him scream or yell or whatever as he's being turned into a tube, and runs out and then accidentally steps on a Roomba. Now, I'm not bothered about the Doctor stepping on the Roomba because he didn't know it was there. But the soldier that knew it was there, why the fuck isn't he looking where he's stepping? You know, the first one.
Especially when weren't they still shining? Aren't their lights on that all
no,
the time?
It wasn't. No, it is invisible. It's like cloaked.
Okay.
But it's not.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like perfectly invisible. It's like you could see like the outline of it. You'd think you'd learn. I'm not saying you couldn't make a mistake, but you think you'd learn not to move where you're not treading, especially when you have time, because it's not like they're under fire at that point. He has got time to tell his friend to wait there, and he'll be there in a sec while also looking where he's stepping, while then walking backwards randomly and stepping on it. You know what I mean? It's so lazy. But yeah. So they're both dead, and the Doctor's on the Roomba, and he's like, oh shit, and then that's the hook of the episode. The Doctor's on a Roomba. Oh my goodness, the Boomba goes Roomba, and then then the actual episode, Ruby comes out, the Doctor's singing, and you're like, why is he singing? Well, the obvious answer is because Shooty got, likes singing and blah, 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 but whatever. But the actual reason is he's trying to calm himself because the machine kind of, it's weird how it explains it. I'm not quite sure what the tech would be in this, but it's basically measuring whether or not it should kill him. I'll be honest, I didn't really get what they were going for. They were saying, is he a thing that needs to be killed? And then they also say later that if after a while it doesn't know if it needs to kill you, it'll kill you anyway. So what was the fucking point?
Yeah, but I have a timer and it's gonna explode anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah, give the rest of enemy squad time to escape. Sure, why not?
Also, it keeps saying boom, but it doesn't actually explode itself. It just disintegrates you and turns you. So it's like it doesn't explode itself. So why does it instantly go off? Anything touches it.
But Lion, remember the thing of the episode is meant to be that if it did it to the Doctor, it would actually destroy like a good chunk of the planet because of quantum.
Yeah, but it doesn't know that because it's a fucking Roomba that kills people.
Nah, add that, but quantum.
so did the Roomba sense the quantum, and it's like, oh, quantum's happening. I better wait.
Yeah, basically. So it has that little timer that keeps going up and down, fucking the whole episode. And then,
it makes perfect sense. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. You missed the Wi-Fi loading bar. You're still downloading the RAM.
Yeah.
And then so they're doing it, and they're not sure what to do. They have a whole thing where the Doctor ends up carrying the tube of that person because it's obviously it weighs as a person, and he wants its weight there when he steps down, so he's not on one leg. Fine, whatever. They do this thing which I don't understand, where the Doctor basically says to Ruby, "Can you throw it to me?" And Ruby says, no, I'll pass it to you because it'll be easy. And the doctor's like, yeah, but you'll get caught in the explosion. And then Ruby's like, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, yeah, that's stupid. But then later on we find out that it will destroy like a quarter of the planet or something anyway. So it's not like Ruby wouldn't get blown up regardless. So what the fuck was he on about? I don't fucking know. And then after they do that, they find out that like a rudimentary AI of the guy in the tube isn't there. And it's just like a basic interface. And you're like, okay, fine. It's meant to, like, we can give a farewell message. Okay, that's creepy, but in a, sci-fi way, and that can...
Oh, you guys have fun. I have to go to work.
Yeah, see you later, Ed.
Yep, good night.
And that's that. And then it turns itself off. And then the little kid that they were talking to, that the dead guy was talking to, turns up and goes, "Have you seen my dad?" So, Shammy, that little kid just runs out into the battlefield to find her dad. That was that base that he was talking to.
It took you a while to process it, didn't it?
Okay, so when he called his daughter earlier, she was back at the base?
She was at the base camp, yeah.
Okay. But this base is near an active war zone.
Uh-huh. He says he got special permission to bring his daughter with him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Did he not have anyone else to watch his daughter when
No,
he was off to war? Because
no.
that's a really, really selfish, irresponsible thing to do, to bring your daughter to the base.
But Shammy,
near an active war zone.
but Shammy, you've not. But you see, these people are actually part of the church, and Rusty Davis thinks the church is cringe. So that's not an explanation, but I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, he was like, I do not like church. Why? I don't like church. Church would do stupid.
I don't like church. Church bad. Pope be doing thing. It's like, what? But anyway, yeah, it's incredibly fucking stupid. But anyway, not only can he phone his daughter like to the base at will and blah blah blah, she just can like leave the base camp whenever she wants to go onto the battlefield.
Is there a hole in the security fence?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. To be honest, it seems like very low discipline is on. So he might have just walked out and they went away.
Yeah, see you later, Ted. See you later. As she leaves. There's no
Yeah, there are a few soldiers just walk out, and it's like, did anyone order you to walk out? Did he know you're here?
It's like, no, I was bored. Okay then.
Okay, I guess you're here then.
Yeah, there's no scene where she has to sneak out or anything like that. It's just like she's just there in the battlefield and she goes, "Have you seen my dad?" And they go, "No." But then because they ask her what her name is and she says it, and then as she's the next of kin for the dead guy, the AI activates. And Sherry, I want to make this very clear to you: the AI isn't like a perfect 3D image of the guy. You know what I mean? Like it's not in color or and everything. It's like a blue lined hologram, like Star Wars.
It's a Star Wars hologram. It's basically that.
So it's very clearly.
Yeah, it's very clearly a hologram.
Yeah, it's blue. It's clearly fake. It's not a real person.
It's like flickering a little. Yeah. So the girl goes, "Daddy!" and starts running to try to hug the hologram, and then fucking Ruby has to fucking like rugby tackle her to go, "There's a fucking bomb on the floor, you dumb bitch." It's so funny, but the kid doesn't have like a bit of a shock. The kid, they have to fight with this kid for a good like 30 seconds, isn't it? Like, and it's like uncomfortable the amount of time that she's like wrestling with the kid.
She really wants to get to that hologram.
She's like, why are you stabbing me? She doesn't actually say that, but she's proper fighting Ruby. Anyway,
how old is this kid?
I'd say she's like
6,
an early.
maybe.
No, really?
Well, I don't know.
I'd say she's like
8 probably.
I would say she was like between 8 to 10. That's kind of where I was thinking. But she's not like, it's not like she's like 4.
But they're having her act like she was 4. Okay, got it.
Yeah, she's like I said it. She was mentally deficient. Basically, she was Spethel. And
That's probably why
That's
default is a
actually-
6, because
yeah,
like
that's
older
not-
kids wouldn't be that
that's
stupid.
not surprising. Yeah, that's not surprising since we had space babies.
yeah. So then after this whole thing where the doctor's trying to like thingy, a lady that was like a friend of the guy, we assume, comes, like another soldier. She's like fought and trying to find the girl. She's coming after her, and then she finds her, and then she goes, hey, you, put down the tube, because the tube is like the guy, you know, he's been like compressed into a tube. And the doctor's like, if I put it down, the bomb's gonna go off. And then she's like, it's gonna go off anyway. Put him down. He was like a bishop or something. Put him down. And then she turns her gun to stun.
I'm sorry. What?
Basically, everyone in the army is
a bishop?
everyone in the army is like a cleric or a bishop or something in the church.
Yeah. Like, do you remember the Angel episode with Matt Smith, where they're like in the ship?
It's
and
like
stuff
that, but worse.
It's basically that army. Yeah, it's that if it was poorly written.
It's that if it was absolutely stupid as fuck. Yeah. So, because he was part of the church and he was like, I think his remains on it need to be with respect. I'm like, yeah, okay. I get that. That's fine. So she's like, put it down. No, I can't. I'm gonna blow up. She's like, well then, and then they have the thing where she goes, well, after a bit, it will decide to blow you up anyway. So she goes, fine. So she turns her gun to stun, to like give him like electric shocks to make him trying to drop the thing. But she just said that he's gonna die anyway. So I don't know why the fuck she doesn't just shoot him. I think the point is meant to be she's trying to get him to drop the thing, so that the quantum whatever doesn't blow the body up as well, but they don't. It just feels like she's just shocking him for some reason. But anyway, if that's what we're going for, fine. But then we get the whole thing where the doctor says quantum, end of the world, and then she goes, oh god, that can't be right. And then they scan him, and she goes, oh my god, that is right. You're like, okay.
Amazing.
It's incredible. And then and then I'm trying to remember what happens. And then they have a thing where they're trying to go what they're going to do next, what's going to happen, blah blah blah. And the doctor's like, well, we've got to get me off the thing. And then he's basically implying at this point that there's no enemy they're fighting, because she keeps saying that they think they live in the enemy, like the aliens are underground or something, and it's heavily implying. I mean, we got it straight away, didn't we, Lion? It's not subtle at all that there's no enemies. It's really obvious.
Yeah.
They keep being like, church stupid, religious people fucking thick, and it's like, yeah, for fuck's sake, nuanced take, incredible. You've really fucking put your thinking cap on there, Russell, you dumb fuck. Anyway, it's incredibly like disrespectful to anyone that has a working brain. I hate it. And an ambulance turns up, I think. This is where I'm gonna get, because I've only watched Boom once. I think an ambulance it started to turn up, and it's gonna scan the. Oh no, it does scan the doctor, and it's like, you are going to get blown the fuck up. We'll go kill you now anyway. It's like, what the hell is that was happening? And then it says like, oh, we need it to get thing. And then Ruby grabs like starts trying to like get its attention, going over here, blah blah blah. And then the woman, the soldier lady. Oh yeah, I want to explain, by the way, Shami, as well. While this is happening, the AI of the tube man comes out again and says to the little girl, would you like to see some photos of the good old times? And the little girl sits down and starts looking through the photos while all this shit's happening, by the way. She is incredibly retarded. It's hilarious.
She's oblivious of the surrounding space.
So the ambulance killed the guy.
Yeah.
And he got compressed into a tube.
Yep.
That has an AI interface that projects a hologram of the guy.
Mm-hmm. It's meant
and
to
he can
be
show pictures.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a bereavement thing. So it's meant to go to the next of kin and then go, I am dead. I'm sorry that you might be feeling grief. I have got some memories of this guy. Here, think of the good old days. So it's meant to be like a very basic AI. Like, it's not really like smart, it's like has the most. Do you know what I mean? So so I'm like everything. Don't get me wrong, everything is stupid, but I'm fine with that in and of itself. It's just how it's implemented is stupid. But so the doctor's got like essentially a taser line in him, which is about to like zap him to, I guess, compress him or something. I don't know. And then Ruby is yelling, and then what I'm going to say is also happening, where there's a gun that gets given to her. I'll explain in a sec. And then while this is happening, the AI just goes, this must be very stressful. Have a look at some holiday snaps. And the girl just sits down and goes, yay! And starts smiling and looking up at him. And it's incredibly weird. And then the soldier lady does a smart, actually, and says, oh, and gives her the gun. She goes, I put it to, like, stun, So shoot me. The ambulance will look at me and see that I'll be like recovered in like a couple of hours and won't kill me. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, that's like that's to get away from the doctor. And then Ruby aims the gun at the soldier lady, but then soldier lady from the start of the episode had a friend, and he comes out, shoots Ruby, and she's dying. Like, he shoots her for real. And she falls down. And then, because the doctor starts having like a panic attack,
Okay.
and having a moment, the Roomba starts lighting up. The RAM is going through the roof. You know, and then the soldier lady's like, calm down, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? And then but because Ruby has been shot and is actually dying, the ambulance turns around, looks at her, and goes, "You are dying, scanning, dying, lol." Like, what? Basic. I mean, that's basically what happens, right, Lion? You know.
Yeah.
And then while this is happening, the other guy's like, but she was gonna shoot you, blah blah blah, and they're like, yeah, we need to save her because this guy's gonna blow up the fucking planet or something. And then, okay.
Are we back?
Yeah. When did I cut out? Or did I not cut out? Was it just OBS?
But you
What for a bit?
biting. Yeah, when talking about the ambulance like looking at Ruby and like is gonna save her.
Oh yeah, so you actually not missed anything. I think I cut out when Brim was nearly out of water, and I said, "Okay, you some after the stream, calm down." Anyway, I think the stream's still going as well. I think it's come back on.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
All right, cool.